everyone. Welcome back to another episode for To the Moms. We're your hosts, Kathy and Amaris. In today's episode, we'll be talking about finding time with your spouse after having children, and having children affects the relationship and the marriage.
Yes. How are you doing today, Amaris? Because I'm not well.
Just a quick rundown. So, Thane got sick, and he missed an entire week of school. They tested him for COVID, flu, RSV, and 2 other things. Everything came back negative. His fever kept spiking to like 102.5. So thankfully now it's down. So he doesn't need antibiotics. But now Cirilla is sick. But she hasn't have a fever yet. So I'm very pleased with that. So
I hope you guys don't get sick, because then, oh my God, there's nothing worse than being sick as a parent.
Yeah, we have some symptoms. So like, I know
you
my
sound
throat.
A little, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize if I sound so nasally, or I'm like frequently taking breaks. My throat is dry. It's just terrible. But we all know my son is autistic, and this week there has been an increase of him pushing Cirilla. I don't know if it's the fact that he's been trapped in this house all week, or he finds her annoying doing certain things and he wants her to stop. So immediately for her to stop. Right.
And he's also spending like a lot of time with her too.
And like, he's not used to that. He's not used to being home 24/7. So this morning, as I'm about to take a shower, before I like get in, I hear her crying hysterically, and I hear Abraham saying, "No, we don't push her. We don't do that." So I come out and I'm like, I'm just gonna take her in the shower with me. So Cirilla and I took a shower together. Because I'm like, Abraham was trying to cook breakfast because he knew I had to be here for the reporting. So I was just like, forget it. Let me just shower with her. She was loving it. She was like, "Mommy, take a shower."
Oh, how cute.
Then she kept asking for bubbles, and like, we don't do bubble baths here. So now I'm like, I'm gonna have to buy bubbles so that you can do your bubble bath time. This whole thing with him pushing, it's not going to be an overnight.
No, it's going to take
corrective.
Time.
It's going to take time. So I'm like, I'm going to have to prepare. Like, if I do have to take a shower and they're both up, I'm going to have to take her in with me, let her have her bubble bath time, let him be away from her. We're at a point where none of us can't leave them alone. Like, it just can't happen. So yeah, that's how my week has been. My house is filthy. I have your aunt and your cousins coming over today for Jasmine's birthday. So I'm like, this is great.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're going through it. That honestly, I feel like my problems right now are so minuscule compared to yours.
No. It's like I've told you in the past, like,
I know.
Like, your problem
here's a spiel. Yep.
Yeah. Like, your problems are your problems. My problems are my problems. Everyone's problems are always different. I too was once in your position where I got no sleep, no time to myself.
I know.
Going batshit crazy because it's like,
no,
I just need a second to myself. You know?
You've given me this spiel so many times. I know. I know. And I never learn. I know.
So how's your week?
It's just been a hot mess. Blue's been working nonstop. So I've been taking on most of the parenting, the cleaning, just everything. Hence why we had to record so late in the week. And this morning, I had every intention to wake up early. I was like, I'm going to wake up at 7. I had a shitty night. Grayson was up multiple times. So once Grayson was up today, which was like at 6, Blue was like, I'm just going to take him. Just sleep in, please. I got it. So I was like, all right, like that was really nice. I was able to sleep in until 8 o'clock. I come downstairs, but my house is like, it's in shambles. Shambles. There's crumbs all over the floor. He gave him goldfish crackers for breakfast. Like, I can't even. And then he's like, oh, my mom's coming. Mind you, I haven't seen her since June. I'm like, great. So like, once she gets here, I have to be like, hi, bye. So I was like explaining to her like what a podcast is, like literally before coming up here. And then Blue's taking him out like without me for the first time. Like they're going to go
Oh,
see his
wow.
dad and go to the park. They're going to go to Walmart. I'm a little bit nervous. And I think that's why
Right.
I'm so like tense right now, because
Mm-hmm.
He's always with me. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
so this is the first time that he's going to be, is it? I know it's kind of crazy. People are
No, it's
listening.
not.
No? Okay.
No, I feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay. But this is like the
Mm-hmm.
first time, like he's 13
Right.
months. So it's
Right.
like a big deal. But it's fine. Blue's like, I don't know why you're worried. So it's fine. The rest of the day should go smoothly. We're going to this farm down, like kind of
Ooh.
like down the shore. And then we're gonna go to a brewery because you already know.
Yeah.
And my friend Kenny, she's gonna meet with us. So that's gonna be
Nice.
really fun. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna have a nice day.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, but I look cute. My outfit's cute, so
You do look cute. You look.
thanks.
See, we had a plan to be put
Yeah.
together today
Yeah.
because we thought it was important to start putting out videos out there so you kind of see a face to the voice, right?
I think it's
So
important,
today,
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely important, a way to connect with people. So
Mm-hmm.
today we said we have to be put together so we can do video recordings.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot to talk about today. I don't even know how this is gonna go because I wrote all my points last night, like half asleep. But I wanted to start off by saying, so I had this friend a few years ago. She's married with kids. She's older than I am. And she used to always tell me, this was before I was married to Blue. We used to work
Mm-hmm.
together. She used to tell me, wait till you have kids. It's gonna change the dynamic of your relationship, of your marriage. And I used to laugh at her comment. Like I never quite understood what she meant. And I just
Uh-huh.
thought to myself, like, it's fine. My relationship is great. Like, calm
Mm-hmm.
down. But let me tell you, like, she was right. She was right.
Yeah.
That life transition will 100% change the dynamic of your relationship once you have children, and not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily in a bad way. It's just everything is different. Like, wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh, definitely. It's so different. Like I knew,
Mhm.
like when I got that positive pregnancy test, I knew the changes that were going to happen. I was freaking
Because it's no
out.
longer you two anymore.
Exactly. It's
Like,
no
think about that
more.
for a second. It's
Yeah,
not
think
just
about that
about
for a
you
second.
guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
So
add
I
this
was
new
freaking out.
person. Yep.
Mm-hmm. When
No,
your cousin Abraham's like, oh yeah, no, everything's gonna be
because
fine.
that's
Like
just
we're gonna
how
be
guys are.
fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you become a parent the moment the baby is born. I become a parent the moment I find out I'm pregnant.
Exactly.
So things are
Yep.
going to change.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like you're learning how to adjust to life as a family. Like, it's just a lot. It was a huge shock for me. You spend 9 months thinking about this baby and what life will be like once they arrive, and then you have them, and the hospital is like, okay, bye, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, that's when it hit me. Like, when I got home,
Really.
I'm like, wow, like, I have to care for this baby for like the rest of their
Forever.
life. Like, I'm
Yeah.
responsible for this human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's
No, not me,
wild.
girl. I knew. I knew it was gonna change our relationship because like you said, it's caring for
Mhm.
another human being. And
Yeah.
I knew that meant like less date nights, less quality time together.
See, I didn't think about
Um,
that from the beginning.
oh, I did. I did. Your cousin Abraham,
Hmm.
he's a very big spontaneous romantic date planner. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's how
quickly
Blue
tell you the
is too.
story. Yeah, wasn't there a time where they were working together and they took us to Maggiano's?
Yes.
Remember
Yeah.
that? So
Yeah.
they planned that out, by themselves, and it was so nice. If you ever been
I
to the
know.
restaurant, it's delicious. A
I know.
little
And we
bit
were teenagers at the
romantic.
time, so it was like such a
We
huge deal.
were.
Like, we thought we were so
I know. We're
cool.
like, oh my
I'm
god,
fancy.
yeah. They're paying for it. Oh my god.
I know.
So I missed the quality time we have for dates, and now date nights are,
Yeah.
hey, Josefina, are you working today? If not, can you take the kids so we can go on a date? So it's like going back to being a teenager and asking your parents if you can go out.
It's you're dating your spouse all over again.
Right. Yeah, you have to date your
You
spouse.
have to, yeah.
No, you have to. I think that's the number one tip um that I think I saw like on TikTok or something.
It is.
You never stop dating your spouse. No
Otherwise, I'm
matter
sorry, but your marriage is going to fail. That sounds very
it is
harsh, but it's true. Like
it
you're
is
just
true.
going to it fade like, you're going to, what's the word?
Like
Grow
lose.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once these babies grow up to be adults and they have
Then
their
what?
own
Yeah.
lives and they move out, then all you have
Is
is
each other.
a person
Yeah.
that you weren't connecting with throughout the
Hmm.
years of being a parent.
And
So
that's
it's just
why,
very important.
yeah, I was gonna say that's why there's so
It's
many divorces and all that.
so many divorces, so many separations, and it's sad to see. It's very sad to see.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a firm believer of you date your spouse, even if it's like, okay, I know going out on dates right now, it's so
Mm-hmm.
expensive. Like we go out on
Oh my
dates, so
God,
I'm like,
yeah.
Jesus, like that's a lot of
It's
money.
the normal.
But
Like we literally just
it's
dropped
yeah.
$150 for lunch the other day. Like why
Yeah.
why are things that expensive right
So what we do now just to cut back on like costs, we stay home
now?
after the kids are sleeping. Like
Yeah,
I would put the
that's a good
kids
tip.
to bed,
Hmm.
and Abraham will go in the kitchen, clean up, pick up their toys. He will run out to like the Asian market down the street, get desserts and like little appetizers,
I
whatever
love
he can
that.
find, and then once the kids are down, we go downstairs in the living room and we are putting on a movie. We're enjoying all this Asian desserts, which I
That
love
is
so much.
so nice.
And we're just
Oh my
together
God.
watching the movie. Sometimes if we don't want to watch a movie,
Hmm.
we just like talk. We're like, okay, so how was your day at work? What are you working on? I don't know what the fuck he does. He
Yeah.
just tells me because I think it's important. I don't
Right.
understand it,
Same.
So
Same.
sometimes I
I
don't
don't know what
understand
I don't know what
coding.
my husband does for a living. Like I really don't. I don't.
Like I ask him, I'm like, so like do you make the code and put it in production? He's like, yeah, essentially, but more goes into it. I'm like, so how so?
No.
But like no matter how much he tells me, I don't really remember,
Same.
you
I
know?
don't. I just know that Blue works in digital advertising, and that's all I know.
That sounds
Um,
interesting.
but you know what? That date night that sounds so nice. And
Hmm.
look, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real right now, and this is very controversial. We co-sleep. And while it has its perks and benefits, and I do love it, it's also very hard because Grayson does not sleep on his own. We're not
Right.
able to just, put him down and be like, okay, bye, like, and have us time. That is something that's very, very hard that I know we're going to have to at some point in the near future figure out because yeah, it's it's kind of like okay, like me and Grayson go to bed and then Blue's still working.
Right.
That's really hard. So it's like I don't really see him throughout the night.
Yeah.
So,
No. No, it's tough. I
mhm,
too bed share with my children, and again, like Kathy said, I know it's controversial,
mhm.
but it's what works for us.
Yep,
We were
same.
able to leave Thane in the bed.
Mhm.
Um, actually, hold on, let me think about that because Grayson is 13 months, right?
Yes. Yeah, he
He's
just turned
13
13 months.
months. Where was I? Oh, I was pregnant at 13 months, so I was sleeping.
That's
So yeah,
right.
yeah. So I never experienced what you're experiencing because I was pregnant. So I was like, I'm definitely sleeping. I'm nauseous. I don't want to feel this way anymore. So I didn't have that problem. But
So
now
so
my
what do
kids
you
being
say? Like you were
older,
forced to make changes when you were pregnant,
when
or
no, I well yeah, I was forced to make changes because I was sick all the time. So
yeah?
I had a routine. We'll
Okay.
bathe him, get him ready for bed. I would take my nausea pills. I would drink a cup of tea,
Mhm.
and I would go to bed
Okay.
because I was feeling nauseous all day long, and I didn't want to feel nauseous anymore. So I did that during pregnancy, but
Mhm.
Cirilla at 13 months, where was she sleeping?
Was that child?
Yeah, where was that child? I know she did way better in the crib than Thane, but
Really?
yeah, she did. She was
I feel like too, like you
amazing.
you you learn a little bit more with the second one, like right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do, because with Cirilla, I was like, you're gonna soothe yourself to sleep. Sorry, girl.
Yeah,
But
like
I was still
if I have a second, like you're sleeping in
like,
your own
you're
room.
sleeping in the crib. But at some point, like, we're able. Well, my kids now sleep on a floor bed,
We
so
have a
that's
floor bed too. And sorry, I don't mean to cut you. I
no,
just
no,
want to
you're
say really
good.
quick. It was working for a little bit, like, and it still work. It could still work, but only
Hmm.
for like a few hours. Um, which that's something that I should start doing. Just put him down for a few hours so that those few hours Blue and I can have to each other. But
Yeah.
sometimes, like at the end of the day, I'm just so tired, and it's
Hmm.
just easier to just throw him on my bed, and you get it.
No, no, I totally do.
But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. So yeah, but now they sleep on floor beds.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a toddler bed,
Yeah.
a twin size bed,
Yeah.
a toddler bed. So we're still
Mm-hmm.
sleeping with them on the, twin bed, but it's what we have to do because they don't know how to self-soothe. But once they're down, we like sneak downstairs
Mm-hmm.
and we get to go on this like stay at home date night
I
because
love it.
it's important to have. It's so
Mm-hmm.
important to have because if you think about it, like, you got into this relationship with this person, you decided to have, a house and children for a reason. You have to be able
You have to make it
to,
work.
you have to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put in the
Oh,
effort
I
in,
think
like,
you
I
cut off
want
a
to
little bit.
spend quality time with you. Like, I see
Hello.
you day in and day out
Hello.
working, or I see you day in, day out cleaning.
Yeah, you cut off for a little
So,
bit. It's
no, you're good.
okay.
So,
Yeah, because at
it's
the end
so
of the day, like,
important.
it all has to be worth it, right? It has to be
Right.
worth it. You have to make it worthwhile.
Right.
I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no. No, yeah, no, it's like you go into this relationship with someone, you
Yeah.
make all these plans and
Exactly.
you
All
put
these
these plans
efforts,
in
all these
place
sacrifices, and
just for it just to stop one
yeah.
day. So like at what point did you guys lose each other?
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you guys stop effectively communicating with each other? And I think communication is key. Like there are
Yes.
times where I tell Abraham, I'm like, I need some time with you.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Like,
yeah.
pencil me in. I
Mm-hmm.
need time with you. And he's like, I know I've been busy. I was like, I get that.
I
But
literally
I'm
told
still
Blue
your
last night.
wife.
Yeah, I told Blue last night. I was like, I miss you, and he was like, "What do you mean?" I was
Yeah.
like, I really I miss hanging out with you,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets really sad when I say that because he knows and he feels it too. But this season that we're in, it's tough.
It's no, it is tough.
Mm-hmm.
It is tough. But it's so important just to say I miss you. I need
Mm-hmm.
time with you. I am
Yeah.
your wife. This is
Yeah.
not how I need to be treated. I'm not like a friend that's helping you out with the kids in the house. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I am your
I'm
wife.
not the nanny.
Yeah, I'm not this live-in nanny. Like, I am your wife. God damn it. And like, like Blue, he feels it too. So there are
Yeah.
times where he will tell me like, I know you're exhausted, you had a terrible day, but like, do you want to hang out? And be like, oh my God, yes, I do. Let's spend time with each other. He's like, okay, like, I'm thinking of
Aw.
this. I'm like, I don't care what it is. Just,
You just want to
I need
spend
some
time with.
time with you.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so tough. Um. But anyways, I do want to say, so I don't know about you, but and this
Hmm.
is going back to the beginning. I don't know about you, but the first 2 weeks after having a baby are the longest 2 weeks in the world. Did you feel that,
I do feel like it was long. Yes.
or like at least with Thane? I'm sure it was different with Cirilla, but
Well, no, well, with Cirilla, I was by myself throughout the nights.
right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So both times, yeah, 2 weeks were long.
Yeah, especially like if you've experienced the baby blues, like I did, I
Mm-hmm.
know you did. I think most
Mm-hmm.
mothers do. Just people don't talk about that shit.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks were not only long for me, but they were extremely hard. Sleep deprivation. Can we talk
Mm-hmm.
about that? And the newborn
Yeah.
phase was something that I was not prepared for. As a couple, like it was really difficult to navigate and figure out. It tested our patience. I
Oh,
felt like we
yeah.
hated each other. Like, can we talk about that for a second? That sleep
Yeah.
deprivation, like
Yeah.
you got to stick.
I
It's
definitely
hard. It's
It's
fucking
so
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. With Thane, I remember, well, for a couple of months, I like
Mm-hmm.
did not like Abraham. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck. this, guy.
No,
Like,
yeah.
no, I am too tired for this
Right.
shit.
Right. Uh-huh.
But with Cirilla, I had a little bit more understanding because he had to be with Thane
Yeah.
because we bed share, and I had to be with Cirilla because I was pumping and nursing.
Yeah, there was no alternative, so.
There was no, I mean, with Thane, I had help because your aunt lives here.
Right.
But still, even with that help, like, very quickly, Thane was born at 35 weeks, 6 days. And when we brought him home, a couple of days later, he was only allowed to have 1 ounce every hour.
Really?
1 ounce. 1
What?
ounce every hour, because if not, if he took in more, he would projectile vomit. It'll come out of his nose.
Okay.
It was so scary. So the doctor was
Oh,
like, 1 ounce every hour.
that's so
And
sad.
after he drank, we had to burp him for 30 minutes. We had no choice. It had to be 30 minutes. Hold him on an incline and then put him down. 30 minutes later, going back, heating up the breast milk or making a bottle of formula
Is that
of 1
common
ounce.
for preemies, or is he was just colic?
I don't know. I
Okay.
have no idea. She had no idea, and she was like, "This is what you're gonna do. Let's hope that it works." And it did work,
Yeah.
but it was a lot.
Yeah. It's okay. Do what you gotta do. Blue's He's like tiptoeing around the room.
So yeah, so
You didn't see. She didn't see you.
I didn't see you, Blue. So yeah, so
Oh, great!
it
What a
was
great
difficult.
conversation to be talking about. Like, come in the room, or just talking about the newborn stage and sleep deprivation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow, these are like, it brings back the memories.
Yeah, PTSD.
But yeah, it was definitely tough. It was so tough, and I remember I was
Hold
like,
on 1 second, Amaris. What was that? Okay. Remember to pack his water bottle. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Put a hat on. Put a hat on. Your hair's crazy. Okay. Anyways. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I just remember just not liking Abraham. I remember not liking anybody
Same here. I
during
had a little bit of
postpartum.
postpartum range.
Same.
I felt a lot of resentment because I was covering from a C-section, and also trying to breastfeed like you and pumping around the clock while also trying to breastfeed, waking up every 2 hours in the middle of the night to pump. My hormones were all over the place. I started to resent my husband for a little bit, and I felt like I had zero time to myself. That's how I felt. And he obviously he was there for me and he was very supportive, but it like you don't see that, like when you're in that
Right.
postpartum fog, it's like all you can think about is like, fuck, I gotta pump, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta wash the bottle parts, it's just it's a lot.
Yep. It is a lot. I remember one time with Cirilla, Abraham had to quickly run upstairs because I think Thane was like waking up. Because okay, so very very quickly. So the first feeding, I would nurse her. The second feeding, when she would wake up, I would pump, and Abraham would come down here to feed her through the bottle. And we had a monitor upstairs, so as Abraham was feeding her, he's looking at the monitor.
Oh
and
my
there was
God,
one
yeah.
time Thane woke up. He was like just finished feeding her. He puts her back in the crib.
Yeah.
Runs upstairs, and I finished pumping. And I remember being in the kitchen sink crying as I'm like washing all the body, the pumping parts, the bottles, the
hated
nipples.
washing the parts.
I hated it so much.
Oh
Putting
my
it
God.
in the sterilizer and dryer. And I remember just crying like, this is just temporary. It's just a short period of time. Things will get better. It's okay. It's okay. And I like went to bed like just crying because all I wanted was to be hugged by my husband, and I couldn't because he had to be with our children. So that postpartum stage is tough.
Yeah, we will save that for a future episode.
Yeah,
because we have a lot to talk about postpartum and pregnancy and all that. So that's probably gonna be cut into 2 parts.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
a lot to
There's a
cover.
lot that we have to cover for that. But yeah, I think after the well, we're still kind of sleep deprived
Same,
because both our
same,
children still wake up. I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old that still
same. It must run
wakes
in the
up in the middle of
family
the
or
night.
some shit because
Honestly. Although your aunt told me that Abraham was such a good baby and it was Angel that like gave
Abraham
her,
was, yeah.
so maybe they got it from Angel. Who knows?
But yeah, so you mentioned that once the kids go down and you guys have your stay and date night. So something that we started and very early on, because right after we had Grayson, we realized we're lucky enough that we realized early on, like, okay, we need time, we need to connect
Hmm.
because I miss you, you miss me. Like, okay, we gotta get back to being a couple. So I remember Blue asking my mom, like, hey, would it be all right if you watch Grayson just once a month on a Saturday, maybe like the third Saturday of every month, so that Kathy and I can go on a date night? So
Oh,
we
that's so
started in
nice.
September. The first I think we went to the city for dinner. And I remember our time was cut short because I was pumping. I was like, I need to be back in like 2 max 3 hours. Because you don't want to get engorged and all that.
Right.
And then like the second one that we did in October, we did a cooking class. So we were very consistent with it up until June. Because my parents went away to DR and then my mom had dental surgery. So we haven't had a date night since June and we're in September now. So that's been really hard. But
Hmm.
yeah, the date night was great. So if that's something that you're able to do with your spouse, you know, even if it's just once a month like us, like I highly recommend it because it's something to look forward to and having that quality one-on-one time together. Oh my God, it's the best. Like I can't wait till we have the next
Yeah.
one.
It's honestly so refreshing and
Yeah.
so I don't want to say life-changing, but
No.
life-changing for the week. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
for a short period of
Mhm.
time. Like last Sunday we went to a wedding and
Mhm.
just like you, we hadn't been on a date since June because your aunt went to DR. So this wedding to me was date night. I was like, I don't care
Oh
what
yeah, of
happens.
course.
We're going to this wedding.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, even though we didn't dance,
Mhm.
I loved every moment of it. It was so not only beautiful to see like two couples like come together and become like husband and wife,
You go
just
down memory
finding
lane, right? Like you
I
reminisce a
went
little bit.
down memory lane. I was like, oh my God, it was so beautiful to see like the groom cry as his bride was walking down the
Aw.
aisle, and I could just imagine like everything that was going on in their head. They
Yeah.
brought a house together, they brought in children together,
Aw.
and from what I hear, he's like the most amazing dad.
Aw.
Throughout the speeches that people were giving them and they were toasting to their guests, like he was like getting so emotional, and I'm like, damn, like he kind
Mhm.
of reminds me of Abraham, how he's all about family and how family is so important.
Yeah.
How he views like his younger siblings as like his own children, and that's the reason
Aw.
why he's such a great father. I was like, oh my God, I feel
Aw.
like so I'm like, as everything's happening, I'm just like close to Abraham, like
I
rubbing
love
his back,
that.
and I'm like, I was like, I love this for us. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you.
You
I'm so
felt
happy
grateful
with.
in that moment.
I felt so grateful and so blessed. I'm like, thank you so much for working so hard. I
Oh
hope
my
I
God,
don't
I'm
cry.
getting teary-eyed.
I
Amaris,
don't want to
always
cry.
getting me emotional.
Oh God, I don't want to cry,
Damn,
but
that is so sweet.
um, I'm so lucky to have Abraham as a husband and
I feel
as a
the same way.
father
Yeah.
to my children because he is absolutely amazing.
He
Amazing,
is.
So being at that wedding, I was just like, I'm so happy
Yeah.
to be your wife. I'm so happy to be the mother of your kids, and we're gonna ride through
Yeah.
everything that we have going on. Like I'm here till the end. And
That's
of
so
course Abraham's
beautiful.
just like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love you too.
Yeah.
He's like, yes. That's what I've been trying to tell
Yeah.
you. Yes, and
Yep. Right back
everything's
at
going to
you.
be okay.
Right back at you, Maris.
Like, everything's going to be okay. We just got to take things one step at a time, day by day. We're a team. Remember, we're a team. And I'm like, yes, we're a team. So if it just being at that wedding just felt so refreshing.
I
And then
love
of course
that.
we come back, and then that's when
The
everyone was like
chaos.
getting
Yeah.
sick. And I
Of
was like,
course.
I am so glad we had that time
Of
together
course. I'm
because
so happy for you guys. You needed that.
we desperately needed that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's just for me, it was like life changing for this week,
Yeah.
because I think if I didn't have that and I went through everything I was going to
You'd
go
be
on
losing your
today,
shit.
I would have lost my shit like by Tuesday,
Yeah.
instead of losing my shit last night crying
Like,
hysterically. You know,
yeah.
so I'm telling you, once even if it's once a week, try to make it happen. Stay home, reconnect with each other,
I need to do that.
talk about, like, okay, for instance, for you guys, like, you guys are thinking about moving in a year. Talk about your likes and your wants, the budgets, what you want.
Yeah.
We, that's what we do, like, once every 3 months.
Oh,
Like, we'll go over our
hang on, they're doing that.
finances and see where we are, see our spending, see where we could cut back, or what we have room to, like, play around with. And I love having those talks,
So
those
we
financial
actually
talks.
we do too. It's so we do something. It's like a weekly check-in. We do this every
Oh,
week.
nice.
It's usually either like Monday morning or at the end of the week, like Saturday or Sunday. But we
Oh,
talk about,
nice.
yeah, so we talk about how we're doing individually, anything that's bothering us, anything that we want to improve. So for example, last week I was feeling just very like snappy and
Mm-hmm.
irritable. And I told Blue, I felt like I was doing too much. I felt like I was doing too
Oh.
much of the solo parenting this week. And
Mm-hmm.
then he explained, he was very apologetic, and he was like, listen, like I'm working my ass off this month. Like I really want
Mm-hmm.
to, you mentioned we want to move.
Right.
So he mentioned, I'm trying to save for our future home.
Mm-hmm.
And once he explained that to me and everything, like I feel better in my role as a mom, as a wife, as a, you know, as a partner. And I have to remind myself that he works hard so that we can have this life and that I can stay
Right.
home and raise our son. It's a season that we're in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to improve on is balance and figuring out like ways to do, my own thing with Grayson. So
Right.
instead of losing my shit all the time, I need to figure out, okay, how I can do this. When
Yeah.
Grayson's playing independently, like let me get a workout in. Let me read a few pages of my book. Like that's something that I really want to focus on moving forward,
Right.
because it's just I'm very chaotic right now, if you can't already tell, especially after this week. I just that my husband works a lot, and I it's something that we're trying to navigate and figure out. It's really really hard.
No, I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it at first
Yeah, same.
when I was pregnant with Sevilla and being a first time stay-at-home mom, and, like, I had
Mm-hmm.
restrictions, which I'll go into details later.
Yeah.
Um but it got to a point where Abraham's job was being affected, because
Oh, okay.
he would constantly, like, come out and, like, help me because I couldn't
Oh
do
no.
certain things. Yeah, it got to a point where he was put on a PIP, which is oh my gosh, let me get my HR brain on the PIP.
I'm
Professional Improvement Plan, something like that.
okay.
And it's pretty
I
much
gotcha.
like the step before of, like, being fired.
Oh my god, I'm so
No,
sorry. I didn't.
yeah,
I'm
it
sure that
got
was like a
it
huge wake up call for.
was. It was a huge wake up call for Abraham, because he's like, I'm literally killing
Oh man.
myself.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
literally, and I'm not gonna name the company that it was because I don't want to
Hmm.
slander.
Yeah.
Um, but he's like, I'm literally killing myself
Was
as a
this with his
worker.
old company or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So once Cirilla was born, and he was still killing himself. Like, this man was only getting 4 hours of sleep weekly. weekly because
What?
yeah, it was bad. It was very bad because this company,
Holy shit.
you had to he started off rocky because first he started in the middle of actually the beginning of the pandemic remotely,
Mm-hmm.
and who he had for like I think a week or two as a manager, they left, never met with him, had a
What?
new manager. They met, didn't really go over like how things work here. So he wasn't doing the work that he should have been doing. So
Mm,
all this time he thought he was being a team player, picking up on these like small tasks.
right.
When in reality you were supposed to like
Mm.
do these big tasks. So when
Oh
it came time
shit.
for his review, he got like a bad ranking, was put on the PIP, and Abraham's like confused as shit. Like, what are you talking about? I'm
Right.
doing X, Y, and Z. And they're like, yeah, but that's not enough. So he was like, all right. So then he starts picking up, doing everything that's supposed to be enough, then
Oh.
gets like, oh, you're doing average. Abraham's like, I'm doing average. Like, I'm literally killing myself,
Oh my
not getting
God.
any sleep, going through all this stuff. So all these like new people who didn't have kids, they were doing phenomenal
Oh.
because they don't have anyone to take care of
Mm-hmm.
after, after work.
That's
So
tough.
all in all, he's like, no, I need to get work-life balance back because this company is not giving me what they need to give me. So the
Mm-hmm.
company he's with now, there is work-life balance.
Good.
He
Good.
does, he's still busy because
Mm-hmm.
he's taking on more tasks, and now he is in school, taking classes again. Um, but he's sleeping. He can get now four
Okay.
hours of sleep a day, maybe
Yeah.
sometimes more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's that time was rough for us because it
Oh
was like
man, I'm
no
sorry.
time for us to spend time with each other. So once I realized like how much it was affecting his job, I was like picking up more, but then
Mm-hmm.
we were just becoming your mom, your dad. That's all we are.
Yeah.
Until Thane started going to school and
Mm-hmm.
he started this new job, I'm like, okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
husband and wife too. We need to
Right.
come together. And I tell him, I was like, I refill your cup by getting the house stuff done. I need you to
Yes.
refill my cup to
Yeah.
be my husband and provide me the comfort. I was like, when I'm crying, when I'm sad, you need
Mm-hmm.
to comfort me. Just like you comfort the kids when they're crying, they're sad, they're hurt. I need
Mm-hmm.
that comfort too.
Yeah.
And he's such an affectionate person, so it's not like hard for him to do, but his
Mm-hmm.
mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's chores, work, children.
Right.
Chores, work,
Right.
children. So I'm
Yeah.
like, throw in like a wife in there from time to time. Throw it in there. Um, but yeah, it's just hard.
It is. It is. I mean, one of the hardest parts with us is finding balance between Blue's work and family time. But we have to accept that his job is just very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he may need to work X amount of hours in the evening or take a call in the weekend. But it's the reality. And in the beginning, it used to be really hard. It was kind of not like a shock, but it's just when you become a new mom and you see, especially a stay-at-home mom, and your husband's like working and it's like nonstop. You're like, well, what about us? What about family time? It's a
Right.
really big adjustment, and um, it was a fairly new job for Blue too. Like, when we had Grayson, like he was only a year in, I think, or maybe less. I want to say, um, but yeah, and I think because of his job is why sometimes I feel bad asking him for me time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having this conversation with my friend Kenny the other day over dinner. So shout out to her. I told her that I felt bad for going out to dinner that day, and that because I felt like I was taking time away from Blue working. And that's not the case, because Blue
Right.
reassured me, like, I want to have this time with Grayson. I want you to go have
Mm-hmm.
fun. I can work when you get back. And that is the beauty of his job. He can be very
Right.
flexible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your standard 9 to 5. Like he can figure ways out. Um, so yeah, I was telling her this, and Kenny was telling me, she's like, but you need your time too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the end of the day, like, we're a team. And we made the decision, like you said, having kids, having this family, me becoming a stay-at-home, like we made those decisions together. And my job is just as important as his job.
Right. Right.
Right. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's just as
Yes.
important. So he deserves his break. I deserve a little break. Like we're a team. Like we have to make it work together. Um yeah, so I shouldn't feel, so she said you don't feel bad about asking time. Like you deserve it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better about that.
No, I get that. That was very hard for me too, in the beginning. And
Mhm.
um I remember like just never asking for a break, and then I would
'Cause you feel
literally be
guilty,
snippy. I feel so guilty. Oh my gosh.
but you both deserve time for yourselves, time with, you know, friends or whatever,
Yep.
and you both deserve to do things that you enjoy too as
Right.
individuals.
Right. And it's funny how like I feel guilty asking for a break.
Mhm.
Abraham feels guilty too. Isn't that
Yeah.
so like funny?
Yeah, blue
He
too.
feels guilty, and I'm like
Yeah.
he'll ask me. He's like, oh, the guys, like his two guy
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, the guys like text me if they want to like hang out, but I
Blue's
told
the
them
same
like
way.
I probably can't, and I'm like,
But Blue doesn't
what
even
day
want
is
to.
it? Oh,
That's the difference between us. Like he doesn't want to. He's like, I'd rather be home with my son, and I'm over here like I want to go out with my friends. I want to go to Home Goods by myself.
yes, I
In the
know. I'm
beginning,
like,
it was not like that. In the beginning, it was not
okay,
like that. I had a very hard
yeah,
time being away from Grayson. It was really really hard. But we can go
yeah.
into that in the next episode.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. So I'm like, I would question him. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
well, when is it? Is it during
Mhm.
therapy time? And he'll give me the details. I'm like, go.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you work hard
Yes.
to give us the life that we
Yes.
have,
Mhm.
not to have a break from this house. I'm like, you deserve it. Text your friends,
I know.
let them know you will be going. He's like, all right, and I'm like, take your time. This is boys not out. Like,
I love that.
you're good. You're good, and it's good for him.
It is. It is. They need
It's
that.
so needed.
Yeah, Blue's
Yeah.
actually gonna be going. So he's gonna be going to Oktoberfest in Germany. He leaves on
Oh,
the
that's
19th for a
nice.
week. Yes, and I'm so happy for him. And granted, like him and I haven't had a vacation since
Right.
before COVID. But you know what? It's fine. Like I can't. I'm so excited for him. He's
Mhm.
going with our good friend Ryan, and he's going with his brother, and he just deserves it. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
so, and he keeps telling me, he's like, but I'm gonna miss you guys. Like, I wish you were coming. I'm like, we're fine. We're gonna be
Yeah.
fine. Like,
We're
you
good.
need to take this trip.
Mhm. Oh, I'm so happy for
Me
him.
too.
I feel bad for Abraham. He was supposed to go to Peru to visit his
Oh
best
my
friend
God. Yeah.
for his birthday, and he couldn't because he started to feel sick. I
Mhm.
think one of our kids started to feel sick. So and I told him, I was like, listen, you can go, but when you're on that plane, it's gonna be worse. I'm like, your nose is gonna get even more clogged. Like, it's just going, and this was also like still in the middle of the
COVID.
pandemic.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna let you on the plane and stuff like that. All in
Mm-hmm.
all, it was a good idea for him not to go, because his other two friends, they I think they were taking like Spirit Airlines, and they had a layover that was delayed.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the details, but they ended up missing their plane, not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
And Spirit was like, I can't help you. You're
Yeah.
pretty much SOL. So they just took a flight back
Jesus.
home because it was just what they
Too
eat.
much. Yeah.
It was just too much. And I'm just like, I think you being sick was a
It was a
blessing in
sign.
disguise. It was a
It
sign
was a
that you weren't
sign.
supposed to like go and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I look forward to whenever he goes out with his friends. Sometimes he'll go our realtor, her company does, I think, seasonal outings just to like
Mm-hmm.
network and stuff like that. I'm like, go text your friends to
Mm-hmm.
go because it's a free event.
Oh
He's trying to
yeah.
buy a house. Go and have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Go ask him, our realtor,
Mm-hmm.
you know, details, your ideas,
Mm-hmm.
everything. This so you have like an inside perspective of what needs to get done.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm always encouraging, get out this house,
Good.
recuperate, refill your cup so you feel refreshed,
Yep.
you know.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if you like do this now, but I tell Abraham, if you're having like a busy work cycle, so sometimes the cycles are like 2 weeks or like 4 weeks or 6 weeks. I'm like, if that cycle is busy, you have to
Mhm.
let me know, because I would rather you be in the office
Mhm.
getting everything done for work, and I'm
Mhm.
going to figure out how to get the dishes done, how to do everything in this
Yeah.
house to help you,
Oh
you
yeah, that
know?
it's kind for us. It's like the end of the month. I think he
Okay.
calls it like the month close. So we know the end of the month is like that like those last few days. Like it's like okay, like I have to give him his time to work because those couple of days are very crucial. And
Yeah.
yeah, we just have to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just, I think all in all, if you get anything from this episode, is
Mhm.
communication is key. I think that's the only thing that
You
you'll be
have to
able
communicate.
to
Mhm.
be successful in, like, everything you do as a couple,
Say how you're
as
feeling.
parents. Yes, yes. It is 2023. We need to start
Mhm.
telling people, this is how you made me feel, and this is
Mhm.
how I feel about it currently. You know, because
I
that's so
agree. Yeah.
important.
Mhm.
It's so important, and it's not to bash you and say, like, you're a terrible
No.
person. It's
No.
just, this is what you've done, and this is how I feel or
Mhm.
felt about it. Therefore, this is how I'm behaving because of it. It's so important to say.
Yeah.
So
100%.
important.
Yeah. So, I mean, my takeaway since having Grayson is the new bond
Mhm.
that Blue and I have created. I want to say I have more of an appreciation for Blue and vice versa. He has so much respect for me now, and not that he didn't not that he didn't respect me
No.
before, but I think him seeing me give birth twice now. Yes, I'm gonna say twice because I'm not gonna dismiss my first
Of
baby.
course not.
Um, but him seeing me become a mother to Grayson, all the struggles that come with postpartum, all the hormones, the breastfeeding, the up and downs, like he really gets that. And
Mhm.
the reason I think for that reason, it's made our marriage stronger, if
Mhm.
anything, since having a baby. Like we have more patience for each other. We communicate way more now than we did before having Grayson, because it's
Yep.
something that we had to learn how to do.
Mhm.
You can't hold feelings in anymore. Like you have to tell your spouse how you're feeling because otherwise, like again, going back, like it's not gonna work.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so we're definitely a better team, and we aren't perfect. Like there's always something that can be worked on, and right now for us is trying to figure out how to reconnect as a couple. But yeah, that's my takeaway. What's yours?
What's my takeaway? I think just having patience. Patience
Mm-hmm.
with everything, patience with all the
Yeah.
struggles,
Yep.
um all the emotions that go inside me, because it's not with Abraham. Like, I don't need patience with him. I need patience with
Mm-hmm.
myself. And I
Oh
think that's
yeah.
where a lot of people,
Yes, you're
they
right.
start losing their shit, because Abraham is very patient, very cool, calm,
Mm-hmm.
and collective. I'm not. I'm a wild card.
Same
One
here.
thing goes wrong and I'm not communicating how I feel,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, forget it. It's firecrackers in a house. It's very terrible. So I think just have patience with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Communicate not only with your partner, but with yourself too.
Yeah,
Like,
check in
why
with
am I
yourself.
doing this?
Like, bitch, why
Yeah,
you
it's,
acting this way?
I do the same way. I'll be like, like snippy with him at sometimes, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that was out of
Mm-hmm.
pocket.
Me
I'm
too.
I'm
I'm really
like,
good at apologizing. Like
same.
after. I think that's important too.
Yes, that is so
Yeah.
important. If I'm like snippy and
Mm-hmm.
or a couple of days, I'll
Take a
realize,
step
I'm like,
back. Mm-hmm.
Yo, I just disrespected him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
like
if the
imagine if
roles were
he talked
reversed,
exactly. Imagine
yeah.
if he
So
talked that way to you. I'd be like,
yeah.
get the
So
fuck out of my house. No.
yeah. Seriously. So like, so once the kids are settled, I'll like go in his office and I'm like, the other day or some time ago, I was mean to you, right? He's like, yeah, but like I understand. I'm like, no. No.
Lou's the
I
same
was
way.
mean to you.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I just been having a tough time because I've been thinking about X, Y, and Z. I'm like, that is no way for me to behave with you. So what I have told Abraham in the past, like many, many months ago, I'm like, if I'm coming out of pocket with you, disrespecting you, or just plain old snippy with
Like,
you,
tell me.
just tell me.
Put me in my
I'm
place.
like, put me in my place and be like, you good, bro? Like, I mean, he's not gonna say that, but like, you okay? Like, is something going on? You know? So I've been better. And what I do now, where I'm like, Abraham, I am not in the correct mental headspace to have this conversation with you. I am too angry because of X, Y, and Z that's happening, and I just need to chill the fuck out, okay? And he's just like, okay.
We're the same. It's crazy. Like, we're very similar in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like I told you last week, I was very snappy, and I apologized to Blue, and he was like, "You're fine. Like, it's okay. I understand. Like, you're going through a lot." But I was like, "No, like it's not okay to speak that way to you." And I was mean. Like I admitted it. So that is another tip. Like if you find yourself being very mean to your spouse, or snappy more than usual, like take a step back and think to yourself, why am I acting this way? And if you have a valid reason, like explain that to your spouse, communicate with them, tell them how you're feeling, apologize to them if you're mean to them. It's important.
Yeah. It's so important to apologize. Sometimes it has like nothing to do with him. It's about like childhood like trauma and like triggers. And I mean, we could talk about that in like a later episode.
Whoa.
But I would like sit down and explain to him, I'm like, I'm sorry, like that's a trauma response. I'm like, I need to work better on that. But just know that's how it makes me feel. So then he'll start to apologize, and it becomes this whole like
therapeutics, like
therapy session, and I'm crying, and the kids are there, and I'm like, we're not supposed to be doing this in front of the kids.
Too. It's the same thing over here. It's the same thing.
So I'm glad it's not just me.
No, and those conversations are so important,
Yeah.
And I know how people say like, oh, don't quote unquote argue in front of the kids. Like,
right.
I feel like it's important to sometimes have these discussions in front of your kids, because it teaches them like, okay, like mom and dad are not, I don't want to say argument, because it's not like
they're having
like a fight, like
a disagreement.
Yeah, but they're like working together to resolve it, right? I think it's very important for your kids to see that, and for them to see you cry once in a while. Like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to show emotions. So I personally think it's really important. But I know everyone's different. I know some parents don't want to show that to their kids. They don't want to cry in front of their kids. I get that, but
But I also think it's important for kids to see that. So not only do they see that it's okay to have disagreements with people, as long as it's respectful and there's a resolution. And if you have to apologize because something was said that hurt the person's feelings, they see that. They see like, okay, that's how you have a healthy disagreement.
Exactly. Like, because mom is owning up to her mistakes, and vice versa.
If all they see is just well, you did this to me, or you see that, or
or the other
my
way.
Parents never argued. My parents were perfect. It's like, so how do you know how to argue respectfully? All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Remember to tune in every Thursday, because we will be dropping every episode on Tuesday. Oh my God, on Thursday.
On Thursday, guys. Thursday. We're crazy. Just a hot mess over here.
We are. Remember, you can listen to it on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.